It's an honor to be here today to consider a piece of legislation that is long overdue, the SALT Marriage Penalty Elimination Act. This bill would eliminate an unfair tax loophole in our current tax code, which penalizes married couples and prevents them from deducting the full $20,000 they deserve, instead of arbitrarily holding them to $10,000, despite the fact that two individuals are filing taxes together. This unfair penalty has had an immense impact on families across the country who have been double taxed for living in higher cost states. This legislation before us today, which I introduced as my first bill in the House, remedies the penalty and will provide millions in relief for families in New York's 17th District and billions in tax relief for families across the country. Some background information that may be helpful for further framing this issue for the committee. Fewer taxpayers deducted their state and local taxes in the 2020 tax year. Nationwide, 9% of taxpayers used the SALT deduction in 2020 as compared to 31% in 2017. This is a decrease of nearly 31.1 million taxpayers who didn't deduct their state and local taxes in 2020 as compared to 2017. While SALT deductions are limited to $10,000, the average amount of deduction decreased to $8,135 in 2020 from $13,400 in 2017. Additionally, and it's important to note, there was no cost of living adjustment built into the SALT cap. In New York State, 35%, or 3,418,300 returns of filers, took the SALT deduction in 2017. In 2020, just 10%, or 1,020,790 returns of filers took the SALT deductions. Some more pertinent information at the district level: in 2017 in New York 17, 47.7% of filers itemized their taxes. After the passage of the Tax Cuts and Jobs Act, this fell to 22.7% in 2018, to 21.7% in 2019, and to just 18.7% in 2020. As you can see, the SALT cap has had a significant impact on those filing their taxes and what they did or didn't receive in deductions. Beyond that, in my district specifically, residents are dealing with immense housing costs amidst near record high mortgage interest rates. In Rockland and Westchester counties, the top two highest property tax counties in America, according to the National Association of Realtors, the monthly cost of a mortgage was $1,000 more in 2023 than it was in 2022, and in Putnam and Dutchess counties, it was at least $800 more per month. In both instances, these are additional housing costs of almost $10,000 or more a year, and that is totally unsustainable. In addition, inflation is still severely impacting families in my district, and prices are up double digits since January of 2021 when President Biden took office. People having to pay thousands of dollars more a year in grocery costs and tens of thousands of dollars more a year in housing costs are making things unbearable across the country. But these issues aren't exclusive to my district. The increase in housing costs and increase in inflation is being felt nationwide. The single most important thing we can do right now to help the families bear this brunt is provide real, tangible tax relief, which this bill does. The one-year cost of this bill is approximately $8 billion, and the 10-year cost is just over $7 billion. This is a very minor expense while providing room for significant economic growth to communities like mine in the Hudson Valley and tax relief to families across the country. This is a pro-family measure which rights a wrong. This is ultimately about fairness. I'd like to thank my colleagues who joined me in this venture, specifically Congressman LaLota, Garbarino, D'Esposito, Molinaro, Garcia, and Harris, among many others, for their work with me in getting this bill in front of the committee today. I'd also like to thank Speaker Johnson for recognizing the importance of this legislation and for his help in addressing this issue. And lastly, I'd like to extend my gratitude to the committee, particularly Chairman Cole and his staff, for convening at this early hour to consider the legislation. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I yield back.